She just vanished into thin air. She was gone.
Was this an abduction? Is this a single mother that may have snapped? Something was wrong.
When you hear mother, loving, employed, those people simply do not vanish.
It wasn't uncommon for her to take these late-night walks.
At 2 in the morning, you're just going to be walking the neighborhood by yourself?
He was the ex-husband.
Maybe she had tripped and fallen.
I felt compelled to speak to her.
He may actually be involved in her disappearance.
She's a very attractive girl.
And now I feel kind of like a suspect.
We knew that Laura had been dating Stephen even before Tricia and Stephen had been divorced.
That's a huge red flag.
We got the results from the polygraph. We couldn't believe what we saw.
Holy crap, I made a deal with the devil.
Oh my gosh, what have we done?
Hope Sound is in southern Martin County, out of South Florida.
Everybody knows each other. It's a small town.
It's a beach community, very relaxed, flip-flop shorts. It's not very fancy.
We do experience a number of homicides in the county overall, but they don't occur with any great degree of regularity down in the Hope Sound area.
If something happens, everybody knows or have heard of what happened. I have approximately 17 years law enforcement experience. This is probably the only case that when I was at home, I broke down in front of my wife.
On April 27th, John Todd calls the Martin County Sheriff's Office to report that his sister, Tricia Todd, is missing. She didn't pick up her daughter, Faith, that day at the babysitter, which was highly unlike her.
When we got the call from the babysitter saying that my sister was hours and hours late to picking her daughter up, we really just didn't have any explanation whatsoever.
If there was a hurricane, or if she had to crawl, she would pick up Faith. If she didn't, something was wrong.
Our deputies arrived to the residence where she was living.
The scene at Tricia's house was normal. There was nothing ransacked, nothing suspicious at all.
Her vehicle was parked across from her residence. It wasn't in her normal parking spot. With her purse and her keys inside the vehicle, but her cell phone and wallet were gone. Our deputies at the time had initiated a BOLO, or be on the lookout for a missing person.
Tricia was very fearless. She was a very free spirit. She would go out on the beach and walk and pray and read her Bible and everything. I mean, in the middle of the night, she would just do things like that and scare me half to death.
To get to that area from where she lived, she would go through some of the rougher parts of town to actually get out to the beach.
Perhaps she had gone on a walk to get away, and then maybe she had tripped and fallen and injured herself.
We didn't know if she went for a swim, the tide took her out. We weren't sure what happened. We had no idea. She could essentially just disappear.
Was there someone that she may have encountered while she was out for one of her walks? Was this an abduction? Or suicide was a possibility? Is this a single mother that just had too much on her plate and may have snapped? There's so many questions.
That night, we called Tricia's brother. The responding deputies asked who was she with last, and Mr. Todd said that Mr. Williams, her ex-husband, was in town.
They had divorced in February of 2016. We contacted Stephen Williams over the phone, and he advised that he'd come down for the week to visit his daughter, which was common.
The investigator spoke with him, said he was very calm, very, natural. Stephen also provided information that Tricia was prone to wandering off on her own and didn't tell anyone where she was going.
Mr. Williams basically told him that he's on his way back to North Carolina. He himself could not find Tricia, and he had to leave so he could go to work the next day, so he dropped their daughter off at the babysitter's. As far as her ex-husband, he's an Air Force guy, doesn't have a criminal history.
He was very cooperative when we called him and spoke to him. He seemed to be a down-to-earth guy.
At this point, we're about 24 hours out, and we still have no sign of Tricia Todd. We're still trying to figure out what exactly happened to her, because now we're starting to believe that maybe she didn't just go for a walk. We had nothing.
We started to get more of a sense of urgency. As the Sergeant of Major Crimes Division, all eyes were on me and how we were going to handle this.
Detective Carday is a bulldog. When she sinks her teeth into a case, she's not going to let go until she gets justice.
Communication with the Todd family was definitely key. We had different investigators assigned to different members of the family.
Sergeant Carday called me right away, and she was really wonderful to me.
We were just sending our investigators on different avenues to study Tricia.
She went through the Air Force, then she got out and used her GI Bill benefits to get her nursing degree. Tricia always wanted to be a nurse. That was just something she loved to do, and she was so grateful to God for her little baby.
During the first 48 hours, our biggest task was to find her alive.
Right now, authorities and volunteers are ramping up in their search for a young mom who disappeared without a trace.
When we realized that Tricia Todd was in fact officially a missing person, it was extremely personal for me. I have a daughter, Tricia's age. I know the Todd family, and my children went to school with Tricia. My constant theme was, what would I want someone to do if my daughter was missing?
More than 60 volunteers are joining a cavalry of deputies to canvass the harsh Florida scrub brush near the woman's home.
We were looking everywhere, trying to find any trace of where Tricia might have gone.
We had 20-something canines. We brought four-wheel drive vehicles into the woods. We used aircraft.
She was a soldier, she was tough, she was a nurse. If she was alive somewhere, we wanted to find her while she was still alive.
Part of getting into the mindset of Tricia Todd was to look at her social media. We looked at all her Facebook friends. We got access to all her email accounts. One of the people that she had spoken a lot about was a ventriloquist and musician named Brent Vernon.
Why don't you go play the keyboard so I can see?
He was a local performer from Hope Sound.
She started following him more on Facebook, sending him messages. She would show up to his shows.
So we tried to talk to every family member we could, every friend.
Now, I understand there was some ventriloquist. What do you know about him?
He's someone that she has said that she's very infatuated with. They've never even had a conversation. It's just someone that she's talking on Facebook.
So she never really talked to him?
Right.
This is the only guy that she was interested in?
That we know, yeah.
They had one conversation months ago, but it was like very brief. She was just saying that she admired his music.
Tricia's interest in Brent Vernon was a little more than a crush. It was almost an obsession. She had told many of her friends that she had plans to spend the rest of her life with him.
She had also sent him a friend request on Facebook recently, and he wouldn't accept a friend request. He knew how she felt for him, and the feelings weren't mutual.
Based on some of the things she had said to her friends, we believed that she was planning some sort of big, dramatic event where she was going to profess her love for Brent Vernon.
One of the theories we came up was that she had taken off for a little while just to get herself together so she can go and make this grand entrance.
We believed this was going to happen at a local show that he was going to do when he came back to Hope Sound.
Trish.